The European leaders have come together in Budapest this week, and the prevailing topic there will be the uncertain path ahead for all EU-US relations under a second Trump presidency. That must be the only thing they're talking about. Well, not quite. I'll bring you another report in a few minutes. The timing of the European Political Community Summit and the informal European Council coinciding with the shockwaves of Trump's electoral win thrusts these gatherings into a unique position. The meetings will not only test the EU's strategic unity, but also its ability to recalibrate in response to what many foresee as an unpredictable US approach. Trump's return, characterized by isolationist and protectionist tendencies, is sending tremors through European capitals. His previous administration's imposition of tariffs, disdain for NATO, created a legacy of friction that Europe hasn't forgotten, and now it's all going to be reignited, but probably bigger than before. So it's like Jaws 2, isn't it? Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. Bum, 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 bum. Jaws. I was going to say, in space, no one can hear you scream, but that's Alien, isn't it? All very similar, of course. The orange-haired one. The orange-faced one. The potential for revived transatlantic strains looms large, particularly as Trump has pledged sweeping tariffs and suggested a revision or even a cessation of aid to Ukraine, alarming leaders deeply committed to supporting Kyiv against Russian aggression, knowing that Russia is coming for them, coming for us. If Kyiv surrenders, Poland will be next, and Lithuania, Estonia, that sweeping swathe. Because Putin won't be satisfied simply with being holed up in his Smeg fridge, pushing up against the frozen peas, not knowing what are frozen peas and what are the remnants of his piles. The EU, already bracing for economic headwinds, views Trump's rhetoric with a mix of apprehension and reluctant preparation. Trump doesn't need to bear the brunt of Putin's wrath. The bloc, the European bloc's export-dependent economy stands threatened by the possibility of new US trade barriers, and European leaders, including Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz, may push for strategies emphasizing strategic autonomy, deeper economic resilience. The new European competitiveness deal, as discussed at these summits, may need urgent reinforcement to buffer against potential US economic policy shifts, and where the EU has it hard, we will have it worse. The geopolitical stage is set for significant realignment. Trump's campaign boasts of resolving the Ukraine conflict within 24 hours by enforcing peace talks that could embolden pro-peace factions within the EU, led by Hungary's Viktor Orban and Slovakia's Robert Fico. Yet this vision contrasts starkly with the prevailing EU commitment to Kyiv's autonomy in negotiations. Zelensky's presence in Budapest today will be pivotal as he aims to shore up European resolve amid fears of diminished US support. Orban's dual role as host and Trump supporter complicates the summit's optics. His alignment with Trump and the historic reluctance to sanction Russia present a divisive backdrop. Orban has framed Trump's win as a vindication, reinforcing his narrative of Hungary as a bastion against perceived liberal overreach in Brussels. This positioning may embolden nationalist and right-wing currents within the EU, straining unity just when cohesion is most needed. Nevertheless, some in Brussels see potential silver linings, just as Brexit, once feared as a harbinger of EU disintegration, ultimately galvanized unity and probably saved Europe. Trump's re-emergence might push Europe towards greater solidarity and greater self-sufficiency. Whether this optimism holds in practice depends on the continent's ability to confront immediate challenges with a coordinated response. In Budapest, leaders will weigh Trump's return not only as a transatlantic dilemma, but as a litmus test for European resolve. Will it deepen fissures or foster renewed cooperation? For Europe, This summit is more than a diplomatic engagement. It's a moment to chart its course in an increasingly fractured, in an increasingly broken world. But it's also a moment to hoist the flag, to set the sail, to declare the colours in support of Ukraine once and for all. Absolutely.